Good morning and happy Friday, everyone. Today on CityCast Las Vegas, I'm here with Battleborn Progress Press Secretary Jacob Solis and Nevada Independent Opinions Editor Andrew Corrali. And we're talking about a surprising claim that ornamental grass bans have killed 100,000 trees, yet another new master planned community coming to a desert near you, and today in sports that Vegas has stolen from other cities, the Wing Bowl, a competitive eating contest. It's Friday, January 16th. I'm Sonja Cho Swanson, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. Good morning, Andrew and Jacob. Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's so good to have y'all back. I'm going to start us off with a hot headline, which was really like a whiplash hot headline. Did y'all see the news about the federal cuts to mental health and substance abuse grants on, was it Wednesday morning?
Yep. Devastating.
Oh, yeah, the cuts that were not so cut, yeah?
Yeah, and then Wednesday night, it was like reverse. Uno, reverse. So I guess today in Whiplash, we learned that the federal government was terminating hundreds of grants around the country. I started doing the legwork. I went and looked up all the SAMHSA, which is the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration grants in Southern Nevada. There were over $7 million in grants in the community here. I was calling organizations, emailing, trying to get a sense of what was being cut.
Wow.
Sounded like $500K to frontline service providers at SNHD was cut at that point. It looked like $700,000 for a minority AIDS initiative at the center was being cut. I mean, just hundreds of thousands of dollars for people literally on the front lines of actual substance abuse treatment was just down the drain. And then we heard the news Wednesday night that actually, wait, no, we're not going to do that after all. So, man, empathy to all these organizations experiencing a frantic moment of panic for the day, but all's well that ends well, right?
I suppose, but
for now.
Yeah. The regulation by Oopsie Daisy will continue until morale improves.
Yeah.
Perfectly put.
Yes. So continuing onward to our first topic of the day, a new lawsuit over ornamental grass is out there. Andrew, what's going on?
Yeah. So get off my lawn, literally. So that's the message of a lawsuit filed Monday against the Southern Nevada Water Authority. So this lawsuit, whose plaintiffs include residents in Summerlin and residents in Henderson, challenges the Water Authority's power to enforce a ban on so-called useless or non-functional grass. And so basically, a quick background, a state law passed in 2021 that was, bolstered by the Water Authority will prohibit Colorado River water from being used to irrigate, quote, non-functional turf starting in 2027. But this lawsuit just isn't a challenge to the, government agency whose quest to conserve water is starting to freak people out because it's, starting to seem very overzealous and perhaps overreaching. This lawsuit goes further. You might say it branches out because it claims that the Water Authority's war on grass is killing trees. The lawsuit quotes Las Vegas horticulturist Norm Schilling, who says 100,000 trees have perished in the Las Vegas Valley due to grass removal. And the sort of price tag on this, by his estimation, is $300 million worth of trees.
Wow.
Disclaimer, I know Norm Schilling personally. I've worked with him at Nevada Public Radio, and he's a great guy, but he knows his stuff. So I'm inclined to, take that number to heart. And sort of to wind this up, the science generally says trees are considered beneficial in preventing heat-related deaths, which is to say the Water Authority's war on grass is kind of backfiring and possibly making Las Vegas hotter. So, who would have thought?
Yeah. Talk about unintended consequences. I mean, it's sort of like, environmental cause versus environmental cause here, right? If we have to choose between a secure water budget for the next, however many decades, and then this tree canopy, which, as you point out, Andrew, prevents immediate heat-related deaths today, then which environmental goal takes priority? Is there a point in which water conservation becomes a net negative for public health?
Yeah, and in this case, it does. If you are essentially killing the trees and, removing that shade canopy that has been shown to reduce, heat-related deaths, the answer is yes. But I want to say that I think the SNWA has done an amazing job in water conservation in the Las Vegas Valley. But in a way, when people think of SNWA, they think of their campaign supporting, responsible use
Yeah.
and anti-grass as it's kind of a low-hanging fruit. And at a certain point, there has to be a recognition that things such as trees and grass aren't just, nice to have things that we can just, get rid of at the behest of this governmental, oversight agency. There's an emotional and cultural connection to trees and grass, and people get mad when you threaten to take them away. And so my thinking about this is like, maybe the SNWA needs to start to participate in some of those larger, tougher conversations that are harder nuts to crack about water conservation. And they're the big ones. Like, should we have federally subsidized alfalfa farming in the Colorado River Basin? It is amazing.
Well, sure, but they don't have jurisdiction over that, right? They're doing what they can in the places they do have jurisdiction.
Right. Well, I'm not saying that they could necessarily, sort
single-handedly
of
save the Colorado River.
Right. Right. But they could be part of these conversations. And another question that comes up frequently that I think should be asked often is the water authority's zeal for water conservation in the Las Vegas Valley, is it just an enabler of the endless, heedless growth? Technology conversations, desalinization has, sort of every time you bring it up, it's sort of just like, oh, that's just, sort of pie in the sky. Not
so
anymore.
You're saying go after the real big water users, not just the little frilly things.
Well, that too. Yeah. And so I guess I would be asking the water authority to level up to another playing field. And,
so we can keep our trees and grass.
Right. And also, take into, account, cultural and emotional factors. Like, it feels good to have trees around. It feels good to walk in the grass. So yeah, I feel like there's some other conversations that they could, enter into in this issue.
What do you think, Jacob?
Andrew's right that I think that the SNWA, what they're really suffering from is maybe an explanatory issue, right? Why is this kind of stuff necessary? It's not lost on me that the people who filed this lawsuit are from Summerlin and Henderson.
Not a lot of heat deaths happening in those neighborhoods.
And I think the other thing too is, look at maybe like the biggest water users probably in Summerlin and Henderson. So these are important conversations. Andrew's right that there is a sort of socio-cultural importance of having trees and grass and greenery in urban spaces. That is good. They should keep trying to have trees. It is all correct that they benefit things like limiting heat deaths. And, there's a lot of benefits to having those green spaces. All that being said, if the city runs out of water, the goose is cooked either way. So
we're not getting trees anymore.
And the other problem here too is that the SNWA is only one water regulator. Ask anyone in Arizona, they've had their water cut whether or not they wanted to cut the water use. Nevada didn't have to cut any of its water use because all of the efforts taken by Las Vegas in particular have basically gotten the city so low that they didn't have to worry about it this time. But obviously, like we mentioned, alfalfa farming in California or Arizona or Utah, all of these other states that are doing these crazy, almond farming or whatever. There's so many things that take up an insane amount of water. It's all governed by the Colorado River Compact, which is 100 years old,
And still not resolved. We're up for renewal and no resolution in sight. So
all to say it's extremely complicated. And, could this ornamental grass thing be implemented better if it has killed 100,000 trees? Yeah, that's disastrous. They got to figure that out. But, did they do this for nothing? Also, no.
Well, let me jump in with a little bit of biology. I want to throw a wrench into this conversation. We interviewed J.C. Davis from the SNWA a few years ago, actually, when this ban first came about. One of the things he pointed out about tree biology is that if you plant trees amongst the grass, the way that you water grass is at a very shallow level. And so the trees actually adapt their root systems to this shallow watering regime. Their roots are actually weaker, closer to the surface. He likened it to sort of growing up on a diet of candy, pixie sticks, right? They're not being driven down further into the earth towards deeper water sources.
So when you get rid of the grass, the roots can't handle it.
Right. So that's why, and then it's a totally new watering system. So the point is that if there hadn't been grass to begin with, maybe these trees wouldn't have died in this mass kind of, arboreal die-off, right, to begin with.
Yeah. So the trees are addicted to grass too.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I know.
Well.
So my point is that, sure, it's a huge cost to replant, but perhaps if we replant them the right way and water them the right way, it doesn't mean that we can't also have trees at some point, but there is going to be several years of recouping some of that tree foliage.
Wow, I did not know that. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to go back and look at that episode. It's I believe the ornamental grass episode. So I guess what this lawsuit kind of boils down to for me is how much authority the Southern Nevada Water Authority has over our day-to-day life. I mean, how much power should it have?
Right. Yeah, and that brings up an interesting question, and I think the picture, that's sort of evoked by this this article about this lawsuit is it sort of like creates, the SNWA as this, kind of specter that's coming for your water, that's coming for your grass, that's coming for your long showers, and I will say that there is, a bit of fear mongering implicit in this lawsuit because, it makes it sound like, they're coming for your lawn. And my understanding, according to what I read into it, the coming ban in 2027 on watering ornamental grass with river water is apparently limited. And this will only apply to grass between roads and sidewalks.
Yeah,
medians
ornamental,
and traffic circles, decorative grass outside businesses, housing developments, and similar areas. But I was interested to learn that single-family homes, golf courses, and parks are excluded from the ban. So they're not going to show up on your lawn and start, ripping it out on January 1st, 2027. So I feel like maybe in this sense, the SNWA, like Jacob said, maybe they could do a bit more of a nuanced job in communicating with the public.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I always return to it's like, okay, how much authority should the authority have? I think for me, the issue is that there needs to be some kind of outside body that's making sure the rules apply to everybody. Because if you say that, like, you have to conserve water or we're all going to run out, there could be collective action by people who are like, concerned the fact that, Lake Mead's going to drain itself. But there will always be, and frankly, extremely wealthy people or corporations or, like who goes to a golf course? Who is using all that water at a golf course? For the most part, it is not Joe Schmo regular guy, as having golfed at municipal golf courses before. That's my street cred here.
You're really slumming it in the municipal golf courses, Jacob.
Hey, they're nice enough.
Taken to the streets.
They're all par threes. Anyways, there needs to be someone to make sure that the rules actually apply, that people are following the rules. And frankly, a lot of what they do is like carrot and stick. So now we're hitting the stick with this ban on ornamental grass. But for years, there's been the carrot of we will give you incentives to replace your lawn with landscaping. And frankly, a lot of the landscaping looks real nice. You get out of it what you put into it. So I don't know. I have no sympathy for people who are like trying to protect their lawn. Like, man, what are you doing at this point?
Yeah.
But I'll never look at a tree growing on grass the same way again, thanks to Sonja.
Pixie
I'll be like,
sticks.
weak roots.
Weak roots. I know you want to be a part of the glow that makes Las Vegas shine. You can do that by becoming a member of the Neon Museum. Members enjoy free admission, exclusive events, and early access to special programs, all while helping preserve the city's iconic neon signs and stories. This spring, members can be among the first to celebrate the unveiling of the beloved Siegfried and Roy statue, which once graced Las Vegas Boulevard. It's coming to the Neon Museum in April, so watch for details as they're announced. And if you sign up for a dual-level membership or above, it also includes North American Reciprocal Museum Association benefits. And that gives you free or reduced access to more than 1,500 museums, historic houses, aquariums, and attractions across North America. One membership, over 1,500 museums. Join today at neonmuseum.org and get ready for an unforgettable year. All right, let's move on to our next topic. A new development is taking shape in our desert fringy areas. Jacob, what's going on over there?
Yes. So this is KB Homes purchased about 38.6 acres over in the northwest side of the valley for $46.4 million. This they're planning to use for 3,500 homes in the Sky Summit development. This all from Eli Siegel over at the Review Journal. So I mean, that kind of explains it, doesn't it? They're doing a big master plan development over in the Northwest. What's new? And I'll just say this. Wow, another one. Look at that.
Right. But I love the way you said Sky Summit. It had this sort of like promotional lilt to it. Can you do that again?
Sky Summit. I don't know how I said it. I did not internalize.
It was smooth. It was smooth. I was ready to buy.
Yeah, but 505 acres, they're adding a 20-acre park immediately adjacent to the community. Would you look at that?
Well, listen, I guess like the easy sort of immediate reaction that we all have is like, oh no, another master plan community, like womp womp.
Right.
It's so easy for us to kind of like roll our eyes a little bit. But I also feel like, I wonder if we've reached a point where only massive corporate developers have the capital to create new housing on this scale, this efficiently. 3,500 homes, like that's not a small number. We have a housing shortage in Las Vegas, right? Maybe this prevents Vegas from becoming like one of those uber expensive enclaves like San Francisco.
I think that like having these homes is like net good, but only if there are also other developments, right? This can't be the only kind of development. And I think that's really the problem here is that really the only development we've seen are luxury or luxury adjacent developments on the outskirts of town, 40 minutes away from the strip, where, the in price is $500,000, $600,000 or $700,000. And I mean, theoretically, it frees up stock where there are cheaper homes, but it's like you got to also build the cheaper homes at some point.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like I can accept that, new housing stock is going to be developed in Las Vegas only at the hands of massive corporate developers. But does it have to be this kind all the time? And so, yeah, my immediate knee-jerk response is, yeah, Vegas, gonna, sprawl it up with the suburbs. They're created in a bit more enlightened fashion nowadays. But am I tripping out, or like, was there a conversation that the community had for like 5 minutes in 2007 that talked about building upward? And you remember people talking about mid-rises. Yeah, and when downtown redevelopment was kind of a conversation again.
The Ogden,
and,
the Jewel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why isn't that? And there are some really cool developments happening downtown in the Arts District that are doing that. But, I wish, that was another sort of option that was more frequently on the table. What's the name of that development in Arizona? I think it's like outside of Scottsdale or something. And it's like this car-free mixed use.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah. And I'm like, build something like that. This is like Vegas is the perfect place for that, to experiment, because we got so much land.
Yeah. And you don't even have to go to Arizona. I think there was a Gwynn Center study that found that like the number of multifamily housing developments being approved in Reno is like 2x or 3x what it is in Vegas. And it's, and
why do you think
there's
that is?
basically, well, there's multiple reasons. With housing, there's 50 million things that influence why things are the way they are. But at a base level, when you talk about permitting, that's just sort of literally how is the process shake out as far as rules are concerned? So like, what are rules for parking? What's the minimum number of parking spaces you need? What's the minimum X, maximum Y? And frankly, Vegas is benefit developers that want to do exactly what KB Homes is doing, is build a bajillion homes out in the middle of the desert with a park next to it.
I feel like I would like to know what incentives are at play for developers to do infill versus kind of sprawling suburban development. Like, I'm just curious, like what profit margins are like, taxes, et cetera. And I'm just curious, like, because I always think about these things in terms of incentives, right? Just like the carrot and stick you talked about earlier with the water, right? Like, what are the carrots here to make that sort of development happen? Just curious.
I would think at the outset, I mean, you're not having to buy, like if you're, building a high rise or a mid rise, you're not having to deal with basically amassing, grading and developing a gigantic chunk of land and building all the infrastructure that goes into it. I suppose you're, having to build infrastructure, vertically, but I would think that there's a massive cost savings, but I'm not a builder. So I couldn't answer that with any authority.
Sure.
Well, and you also like look at where is being developed. And I think like we see the edges of town because that's the sort of like classic suburbia, wealthy, upper middle class people, want to.
Where the
but
demand
then
is.
To the other extent, what you said, Andrew, earlier, where are the developments for the multifamily developments? It's downtown or sort of the Arts District, gentrifying areas that have seen a lot of growth in the last 10 or 15 years, and a lot of sort of like a sort of, we'll call cultural revitalization post-Great Recession. And I think that's the other thing is they're only going to build where they think they're going to make money on the investment. Yeah. And so what incentives, you're right, is the city giving builders to move beyond that because the market is going to demand exactly what we're seing.
Right.
For what it's worth, I did a 10-year stint in Centennial Hills and didn't like it. Didn't like it. Wasn't my jam.
All right. Well, I guess if I have to ask y'all, how do you think this development changes Las Vegas? Or does it?
if it's adding more of the same, is it really change?
Andrew?
Yeah, I feel like it's more of the same. I feel like it creates some interesting opportunities out in that area because you have, Centennial Hills east of the 95 is kind of old now. But I will say that I guess it would present an opportunity for some actual, sort of civic development and amenity development to happen out there. I'm just thinking selfishly in terms of like, cool restaurants out there, cool community amenities. They've got Floyd Lamb State Park out there. So in that sense, whenever you have, populations clustering around a certain area, interesting things tend to happen. So I would say in that sense, it's a good thing.
Yeah. I will like to lodge one complaint about this, having recently, because I live in Henderson,
so lodge, Jacob.
Yeah, southeast. But whenever I go to the northwest, I go, and the roads are so wide, and the houses are so far apart from each other, and I'm like, what is the point? What are we doing? Anyways, that's my one complaint. The road situation is out of control.
How will you know if you're in America or not, Jacob, unless the roads are way too wide?
Unless you're
right.
on
I guess you're right. I won't.
Yeah, exactly.
A strode.
Classic Americana. All right, our third and final topic. Vegas is known for stealing sports from other cities. This is no exception. We are stealing the Wing Bowl from Philadelphia. Bum, 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 bum. Coming to Las Vegas. Yes. So the Wing Bowl started in Philly in 1993. It is a chicken wing eating competition. It's coming to the Plaza Hotel downtown on February 7th. Here's how it works. All right, y'all. You guys have watched competitive wing eating competitions before? I'm sure you've seen some YouTube clips of it.
Food eating contests are just like grotesquely mesmerizing.
Horrifying, but you cannot tear your eyes away.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. So this is how it's set up. It's 2 14-minute rounds followed by a 2-minute final round. The wings must be 90% consumed as determined by the judges, which respect, because if you leave behind meat on a chicken wing bone, I have no respect for you. There are no napkins allowed. And here's the other thing. Vomiting is an immediate disqualification. So
that seems pretty standard.
If you would like to go see this in person, you can register for free tickets online, or you can watch the live stream on the Plaza's YouTube channel. I'm thinking wing party at home, live stream the video.
Yeah, and have your vomitorium bucket handy.
Yes, everyone gets a bucket and a basket of wings.
Your vomitoon, like a spittoon, but for vomit.
Roman style.
Yeah, exactly.
Where do y'all stand on competitive eating? Yay, nay, shrug, horror?
So it's funny because when I used to see, when competitive eating, like I feel like 20 years ago, it started like really kind of suffusing the sort of pop culture consciousness. And when I saw it at first, I was like, this is just gross, and the worst things about endless consumption and
capitalism
and veracity and everything like that. But then I thought about it and I was like, isn't any sport just an arbitrary collection of movements and weird rules? And so now I'm kind of like, why not? Anything could be a sport if enough people are interested in it. So I'm like, if you can do it competitively against a timer, sure, why not?
Yeah. And maybe I'm off base here because I actually have no idea what the history of competitive eating is, but there's a level of like fundamental Americana to it. Like it's real state fair stuff here. Like, oh, I'm going to eat 87 pies and no one's going to stop me. So yeah, why not? I do feel like there's a level of cultural appropriation living in the West and taking a wing eating competition from the Philadelphia.
It's like intra-appropriation. Intramural cultural food appropriation. Interesting.
Yeah, but Vegas is the appropriation central.
It rings really East Coast. Are we
they
actually
were invented
not?
in Buffalo, yeah.
Oh,
so.
I did
that's
not
why
know
they call
that,
them the
Jacob.
Buffalo Wing. I think.
Well, the rest of the chicken was invented elsewhere. I don't know.
Correct. That much is true. This is also a question I have. Are these wings sauced? Like, so I would assume so because there's no napkins, So,
yeah.
But how spicy is the wing? How many Scovilles are we talking? I have questions. I'll be doing my own independent
Is the bonus round a
research.
spicy round or something? Like an extra spicy? Is it like a hot ones plus wings mashup?
Yeah, like how much are the wings going to punish you later, I guess is my question.
I'm fascinated by the idea of like, are they going to have like judges on the spot, like like assessing each wing to make sure it's 90% consumed, so that they're gonna have like little like specialized calipers. So
Yeah,
that'll be
magnifying
fascinating
glasses.
to watch.
They're like
sure.
really looking.
And like, what if someone cheated and made sure that their competitors all had like slightly larger, slightly heavier wings? Like, because no two wings are the same, right? Do they
This is true.
weigh the baskets ahead of time?
They have to weigh it. As someone who has a food scale at home, that's the only way that she'll ever know.
All right.
Jacob, do you weigh your flours when you're baking? Are you precise about?
Well, I don't bake, but I do weigh my coffee before I grind it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Hey,
coffee nerd.
I see you.
Coffee nerd.
You. Oh,
all right,
man, we'll have to talk about that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess this has me wondering, if you had to enter a competitive eating contest, which food item are you picking for the win? Like, what gives you your competitive edge in a competitive eating contest?
I would say for me, peanut butter, and my competitive edge is my naturally voracious, bottomless appetite for peanut butter.
Andrew, that's a horrible choice. That would just stick to the roof of your mouth.
Awful.
You would
well,
not
yeah,
get
I'd
through
probably
a whole...
end up. Yeah, I'd probably be disqualified by
You would
lethal
choke.
suffocation.
Yeah.
But I could put peanut butter on anything. I'll put it on a shoe and eat it.
Oh my God.
So, or Twix.
I mean,
Twix.
I mean, that is the power of peanut butter.
Yeah, Twix. They've been coming out with all these crazy new flavors, salted caramel, snickerdoodle. So I'm on this rip to try them all. So at this moment, I could probably eat an endless amount of Twix.
Twix, if you're listening, please sponsor Andrew Crawley in your next Twix eating
Sorry,
contest.
Yeah. That felt a little bit commercial, but I gotta say it.
I gotta say, I would probably go for donuts just because, well, for two reasons. One is they're kind of squishy, right? So I feel like I wouldn't be like, I feel like they'd sort of, eventually kind of squish down a little bit. Two, I kind of like a donut, but the key reason is that I don't love them so much that if I like never wanted to see another donut again in my life after this competition, it wouldn't be like the greatest loss of my existence, Like, I feel like after that competition, you'd be like, never again, get those foods away from me. So
it suffers from the hot dog problem, though, where it's so dry that it will dry out your mouth if you eat too many of them.
True.
So you got to do what they dip the hot dog bun in water to eat it faster. So you
I always just thought that was like
donut.
a cup of saliva. Okay, I didn't know it was water.
Oh no,
no, I'm kidding.
Back to
that will be rad.
Grotesque.
Yeah, someone who respects the craft of Joey Chestnut. I have watched a lot of hot dog eating.
Amazing.
For me, I do ramen, but like real bowls of ramen. But I don't know how you adjudicate like the toppings and stuff. That said, I feel like once you start slurping down the noodles, like you could just go like and enter a flow state. I don't know that
Ramen
wouldn't kill me.
Would you even use a bowl, or would you even use like a spoon, Jacob, or would you?
No, I'd use
chopsticks?
Just
and
then just slurp it right up and just keep going until I probably die. But yeah.
The sodium intake would be a lot, I think. I'd be worried for you, Jacob.
It'd be rough, but that's for later. That's always for later.
Glory first, hospital later.
Exactly. Trophy first.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you all for this wonderful conversation and enjoy your weekends.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sonja.
And that's all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. Our executive producer is Layla Mohammed. Our roving producers this week were Zoe Culkin and Adrian Gonzalez. Our newsletter editor is Rob Katchelreese. And I'm Sonja Cho Swanson, competitive donut eater. Music is by OG Moose, Epidemic Sound, and All the Kimonos. We record this show on the traditional homelands of the Nuwuvi, the Southern Paiute people. And if you enjoyed this show, hey, go tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, 5 stars, please, and subscribe to our morning newsletter. Don't forget, you can support this show and get some great perks by becoming a CityCast Las Vegas neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back Tuesday morning with more news from around the city. Take care.